Sean Spencer. We on air, people. We are live. And welcome to Live with Sean Spencer, your boy. Yo, so glad to be here with you guys.
That sun shining on you. Always put yourself in a position where the sun shines on you.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Sean Spencer. And you see what it is. We on air, people. We are live and direct in your living room. Let's go. It is July the 6th. Man, I hope you're in air conditioning. I hope you're able to get cool because it was hot outside today. But your boy is here live in your living room trying to see how you been, what you up to, how you doing, man. We over here just chilling, keeping it copacetic. You know what I mean? Just doing our thing, man. And like my guy Huggy Lowdown says, what's the deal? What's the deal, Pickle? Is everything kosher? Because your boy is definitely chilling. Ooh, chilling. I need a pickle right now. That would be dope, man. I wish I had some pickles, man. Hey, look, what's going on though, people? How you feeling? What y'all up to these days? What y'all got going on, man? Your boy is kicking it. I'm just trying to sit here and chat with you. We got a lot of stuff going on. I'm trying to make sure I get everybody in this thing so we can chat it up and dialogue and do all that. But how y'all feeling, man? How y'all doing? Are y'all excited? The summer is midway through. You know what I'm saying? We trying to see what everybody else is up to, man. But your boy is in here ready to talk a little soccer, man. So hey, we're gonna get into it real quick. But before we do, man, definitely got to shout out my guy and a sponsor of this show, my dude, Mr. Anton Benson. I hit him up, let him rap with you for a second, and I'll be right back on the other side. Yeah, buddy. That was my guy, Anton Bennett. Shout out to him, Mr. Awesome Artisans himself. Check him out. He's on Instagram, awesome_artisans. He's also on Facebook. He's out there, man. Definitely get in touch with him if you need work done. You saw the video. He does a little bit of everything, a little inside, a little outside. I helped him remove this big old yucca plant. Just the two of us. He got the tools for that. Then he power washed daggone backyard pool, in ground pool. Got down there and got in on that, man, and it was great. But since it was so hot, there was no water in the pool when he was power washing it, so that kind of stunk and everything like that. But and helped him with an office building, did a whole bunch of stuff, man. You got to get in touch with the guy. The guy does great work, man. Definitely get at him. But listen, I'm here, man. It's your boy Sean Spencer, one half of the Dynamic Duelist. Let's talk football. And then you see up here, you see where we at. Off the Wall Media, brought to you by Bree and Art, man. Doing big things. Founders and creators, Off the Wall TV. We're doing it. I'm the sports guy, Off the Wall Sports, with your boy Sean Spencer. And we talking, man. It's that time of the year. It's the summertime. It's World Cup time. So many things are going. We are in the thick of it. The round of 16 has been going down. There's a game going on right now. USA. Hey, where my USA heads at, man? How we feeling? What's going to happen? What y'all think's going to happen tonight, man? I'm excited, man, and I'm ready to see. Can we beat Belgium? I know we got our guy, Balogum back. So I'm hyped. Ready to go. I'm ready. Let's get it. But look, before we get into that, let me kind of update you on where we are at the moment in the World Cup. As we've seen, the round of 16 started a couple days ago on the 4th of July. France was the first one to get the victory after kind of squeaking by Paraguay, the team that had a lot of momentum riding with them and really doing good. And after they had gotten the victory and upset Germany, Paraguay gave France everything they could handle, but France got it done, beating them 1-0. So they're going to move on. They're going to play the winner of the Morocco versus Canada game, which Morocco, after they upset Netherlands, they hit that out there, got Canada, crushed them 3-0. Moving on to the round of 8. So France and Morocco will play on the 9th. And then you got Norway. Norway shocked the world, maybe. I mean, listen, a lot of people look at Brazil, and if you don't know anything about this tournament, you're saying Brazil's a 5-time champ. Brazil is one of those teams that always moves on. It has been since 1990 that they have got knocked out this quick, but it happened this year. Norway, led by Erling Haaland with his 2 goals, beat Brazil 2-1 to move on to the round of 8. Norway, it's the we rowing it, baby. We doing it, man. Is PJ Fleck? Is he a Norway? I don't know, but hey, they got it done. Shout out to Norway. Moving on after beating Brazil, and where I left y'all last night, I was right before, or as right as the England versus Mexico game. And listen, I told you, England was literally going into Mexico's backyard. They were literally going into the Azteca. They were going into a hostile territory. And I just didn't. I thought that was going to be the X factor. But not only was it not the X factor, but England did it. And at one point, they did it with 10 men on the field. And I mean, you want to talk on that. Um, Let me see. Y'all still with me? It looks like we got some audio issues real quick. Okay, we're back. We're back. Yeah, so shout out to England getting it done. And the hero of the day was definitely Jude Bellingham. I mean, was unstoppable. I mean, he was clinical with how he was dominating up and down. I mean, Mexico really couldn't stop him. England ended up getting up to a 3-1 lead at one point for early. I think it was by him. Hey, they look. You got to show love. Um, you got to show love to what England was able to do going into Mexico's neck of the woods, getting that done. And to my knowledge, if I'm not mistaken, that is the first time that Mexico has ever lost in the Azteca Stadium. In that, I mean, you want to talk about the ultimate in the knockout stage. You want to talk about the ultimate home field advantage. That was it to a T, being able to get that victory in there. England will move on to play Norway after beating Mexico 3-2. And listen, you do that, you get that kind of a victory. That's one of those situations where you're kind of like, yeah, we feeling some type of way. And I talked about it the other day, that MO, that big Mo, that momentum can be a hell of a drug. If you can ride that thing, who knows how far you can go, man. So shout out to England as they will move on now to face Norway. So look, half of that round of 8 bracket is set. Morocco, France, England, Norway. Now we're going to see how that plays out, what goes on from there. Now, today we had 2 more. We have one that is starting now, I believe, USA playing Belgium. We're going to dive into that preview in just a second. But before we do, we got to talk about it. I spoke about this a little bit yesterday. Spain, Portugal. I mean, these guys, rivals, these guys right next to each other. These guys know each other like the back of their hand, and the game showed exactly that. This was a 90-minute stalemate. Okay, it needed extra time for things to eventually end up popping off. As we know, Mikel Marino ended up getting a goal off of a cross, or he helped facilitate that, get that in there, and pull up a 1-0 victory as Spain sends Portugal packing. And not only that, ladies and gentlemen, this was the final game, the final World Cup of the great Cristiano Ronaldo. He announced his retirement before the game. I came out and said, man, is this going to be like a Ray Lewis situation where he announced his retirement and all of a sudden the team played up? But hey, the Ravens didn't have to play the Steelers that year. And you know, when you play rivals, when you play teams that know you, that you play them, you're hard fought and everything, those games tend to hit differently. And this one did just that. So I mean, and if you look back at the game in reality, it, like I said, it was a stalemate. It was literally one of those defensive battles. You know, they were trying to conserve energy. They were trying to be cautious. Nobody wanted to give the other team that kind of uh, that rebound or that counter punch. They all just kind of played defensive, and almost like Mayweather, just wait, wait, wait. And I mean, look, you saw it on both sides. You had Portugal was struggling to get Ronaldo those openings so that he can be able to work his magic, and then Spain, they had that, it was that tiki taka kind of approach, and they couldn't get past Portugal's defense. I mean, it was literally back and forth, back and forth. Nobody can break away until the extra time, when in the 92nd minute, the super sub, the guy came off the bench and got it done late in the ball game. And listen, Portugal will be going home. And I think we got to take a minute to just show love. Definitely put our hands together for Cristiano Ronaldo. Hey, listen, for somebody like me who really is not that I'm not that aware of sports as far as World Cup. I'm not that aware of these players. This is the first time that I really put a lot of time and effort in watching the World Cup and things like that. But there's certain names. If you old school, the Pelés. Obviously, recently it's the Messis, it's the Cristiano Ronaldos. You know what I mean? It's these type of guys. And Neymar. We saw Neymar just retired from Brazil after their loss. And now you have this guy, Ronaldo, who we were thinking, I was talking to my guy Alex yesterday, like, is he gonna get it? He's already announced this is his last year. Is that gonna be the momentum his team needs? Well, unfortunately, it was not enough. I mean, they gave it everything they had, but unfortunately, they were not able to continue this thing. They weren't able to move on. And there it is. Ronaldo, the great Cristiano Ronaldo career has ended. And hey, man, that, off to greener pastures, but you just hope, you wish he could have gotten that one time. You wish he could have gone out on top. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But Spain will move on, and they will play the winner of this matchup in the round of 16. We want to see USA, Belgium. Who is going to pull it out today? And hey, the game, if I'm not mistaken, let me go check right now. I think that game has just started. Let's see. Yes, it has started, and in the 23rd minute, Belgium is up 1-0 already on the USA. So the USA is playing with a deficit. Hey, they're gonna have to come from behind. This is going to be very interesting. I know a lot of people in the USA are really kind of zoned in and focused on this game. Us being, being kind of a home field advantage of being in Seattle, and obviously we're the host country for this thing, so or one of, and this is going to be interesting. Can USA come back? Can that pressure style, that 3-5-2 or 4-3-3 defense frustrate the Bruins rhythm and whatnot? I mean, that's going to be the issue. But I think everybody really was focused on prior to this. They were really focused on Folarin Balogum, the striker, the main guy for USA. Obviously, he had the red card in the last game. They wanted to see, was he going to be able to play. Obviously, with a lot of speculation over this, but they came out after the red card suspension. It was lifted, and he is in there. Not sure. I'd have to take a look and see kind of how he's done thus far in this game. But as you can see, Belgium has already jumped out to a 1-0 lead early on. So hey, game's far from over. Let's see if USA can get it, because we know, yes, Belgium, they're older. They've got some guys that are kind of what would be deemed as aging in a young man's sport. But I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people look at, especially in the NFL or other sports, you get that at a certain age, in NFL is 30 and up, oh man, they're definitely on a cliff. They're falling off. People I think miss the fact that when you've been around, you've been to a couple World Cups, you've been, you're up there maybe a little older than the rest. You got experience. You got experience. You know those kind of tricks, and you know how to get things done. And you got Kevin De Bruyne and Romelu Lukaku that for Belgium that they know how to get it done. And that's one of the things that for USA, you're gonna have to figure out a way to kind of neutralize those guys. You're gonna have to figure out a way to kind of shut them down and make you know get your opportunities, score, get it in there, make things happen, man. That's what you're gonna see. My guy, yeah, my guy Anthony Handy is in the building. Sup, man? Yeah, hey, kick it. I ain't scared of you, mother. Yes, sir. How you doing, Anthony Handy? Shout out to my guy, Anthony Handy. Speaking of kicking it, hey, I got to do this plug real quick. My guy, Anthony Handy, will be joining myself, Nicholas Rosario, Tina Winter, and Delilah Crespo in Chicago, Illinois this September. We're going to go live. Let's Talk Football. The round table is going to do their season opener for, I believe, was it season 6 or 7? I think it's season 7. Doing their opener this year in Chicago. We're going to be live. There's going to be some crazy stuff going on. I'm going to try to wrangle these guys in, but look, once they get together, because we never all got together. So they're gonna have a mind of its own. It's gonna be crazy, man. I might have to hit that delete button a couple times. We're gonna see how everything's gonna go, man. But shout out to my guys and coming together and doing that. And Anthony saying, man, soccer conditioning is just different. Yep, them dudes stay top tier in their late 30s. You're absolutely right. And you add on the fact that of how hot it is, you know what I mean? They're going out here. And if I'm not, this one's in Washington, but I know some of those games were in Texas. And then, the Mexico game was in Mexico City. You already know how that heat plays, man. That heat gets it going. Oh, almost made me laugh, bro. You know I'm always laughing, bro. You already know how that is, man. But yo, shout out to him, man. Hey, let me know if you're watching the game, man. Are you watching the game? Because what I'm seeing is Belgium is up 1-0 in this game. And hey, man, I'm getting a little nervous. Want to know what's going on with the USA? I'm looking at some of these. I'm trying to look at. It's kind of hard to look at difference in the 28th minute. But yeah, hey, we got the players. We got what we needed to get. We understand. Wrangle us. I'm in the building. Good luck. Hey, listen, I know I can't just click a button and take you off screen. All right. You know what I mean? I don't know what I'm going to do, but it's all good. My guy will be in the building. Hey, he's at the gym. Okay, cool. Gotta get it. This guy, you got me. You know what? We're going to a commercial. It's all good because we were already done with that. Actually, matter of fact, not just quite yet. Now we know. We'll see what happens with today's game. We also know there's 2 more games that are left that need to be played, and that will be tomorrow. Argentina plays Egypt, and that's at noon. They're playing in Atlanta. Hey, that's near my guy Anthony Handy's neck of the woods. And then at 4 o'clock in Vancouver, Switzerland will be playing Colombia, and those will be the last two. Whoever wins those games will be the last two teams in the round of eight. So we shall see kind of how that whole thing plays out, what ends up going on there. So hey, stay tuned for that, man, because this round of 30, we're down from the round of 32 all the way to now. We are at the round of 16. The knockout stage is flying by. I mean, the finals is on the 19th. So the round of eight, I believe, starts on the 9th. And then I think the 14th, 14th or 15th is when we're going to get to like what it would essentially be the final four. So tune into that, man, because that is going to be, hey, that's why we're here, man. And I'm here for it. I'm loving it. I'm excited about what's going to happen, man, because the World Cup is taking over. And this is why we're here. This is what we're here for, man. So let's get into it. Let's go. But listen, I'm going to take a quick breather, my guys. Your boy Anthony Handy got me over here chuckling and all wigged out, trying to think about, holding everybody in line and whatnot. But it's all good. Because hey, we live, we on air, we good to go. So look, I will be right back with you, man. That was a little quick World Cup talk. I will update you a little bit later on USA. Right now, they're in the 30th minute, still down 1-0 to Belgium. Can they come back, man? I don't know. But yo, we're gonna be right back. Shout out to Let's Talk Football, the brand. I'm gonna play the video. Shout out to my girl Janae Struther, who will be. I'm trying to get her to join me in Chicago for that visit with the round table so we can start off the year the right way. I will be right back, ladies and gentlemen, but I will holler at y'all on the flip side.
Episode of Let's Talk Football.
Yep.
I am Janae Struther.
I am Sean Spencer.
I am Janae Struther.
I'm Sean Spencer.
And this is Let's Talk Football. Season 3, we are back. We are back.
That's right.
What's up, Mom?
Mr. Nick, I want the smoke, Rosario.
Hey, what's happening, kids? How we doing?
What up, Ben?
Janae, Sean, thanks for having me.
We may play talk football and basketball. Great.
Is Carson back?
Everyone played to the last play.
Yes.
There's other leagues like Raiders, Blues. How hard is it for this guy? You know what I'm saying? I would take the Bucks next time.
I'm gonna call your mama. I'm gonna call your mama.
Like we can't back up.
I know
Maybe you guys need to start wearing cream.
In the building, let's go! All right. I am Janae
I
Struther.
am Sean Spencer.
And this is Let's Talk Football.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy. I am back again, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that's Let's Talk Football, but also the host of Off the Wall Sports. You see it over here, Off the Wall Sports with Sean Spencer, off the Wall TV, excuse me, and Off the Wall Media. And listen, I told you I was going to give you guys an update on what's going to happen, and I got two updates. Just within the time that we've been in the commercial, my goodness gracious, the scoring has lit up. It was 1-0 Belgium. And this, right when we got in the commercial, Malik Tillman scores for the USA, making it 1-1. But just in the time that it took me to talk to you guys about that score, apparently Belgium's Charles de Ketelaere got in with a header from close range, and now all of a sudden, Belgium is back up now 2-1 Belgium. This game has just turned up. I mean, they turned up the energy just when I was about to say, watch out, here we go, USA, USA. Now, not more than a minute or 2 minutes later from USA scoring, Malik Tillman getting his goal. Now, all of a sudden, Belgium answers right back with a quick header. So, hey, you got to keep your head on the swivel. Got to keep your head on the swivel in this game, man. So, hey, we're going to see what all happens. Hey, gotta get bigger than DeMarco by September. Yep. Just call DK. Just call him DK. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we're gonna call him. DK. Instead of Dakota. Yeah, DK. That's what he's gonna be, man. Straight up. Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am back, and that was definitely a whirlwind of me coming back from the break. Off the Wall Sports with Sean Spencer. You know who it is, your boy Sean Spencer. One half of that dynamic duo is Let's Talk Football, and your Off the Wall Sports guy. The World Cup is going on. Like I just alluded to, Belgium has retaken the lead 2-1. It's the 36th minute of the match, their round of 16 matchup with USA. So USA is back on their heels. Let's see what happens in this one. But I got to move on to America's football. We know the world is all about this type of football, but I got to talk the NFL update, ladies and gentlemen. And listen, while we're here talking about it, obviously the offseason going. I talked to you guys yesterday. The Hall of Fame game is August 6th. So we'll see who's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame and, and how everything's playing with that. And then obviously you have the Cardinals playing the Panthers in the Hall of Fame game. Also, we know the season doesn't start till I believe the second week of September. August 27th is week 0 of the college football season. And North Carolina will be playing TCU in Dublin. Won't be at that game, but I'm definitely going to try to cover it and talk about it. So we're definitely going to tune into that and get down with that. Shout out to my guy, Anthony Handy, in the comments. Don't know for sure. But I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there and assume that my guy Anthony Handy will be doing his show this week in Georgia football with his guy Colin P in the DMV. And if Colin, if something works and he's not there, I'll definitely help my guy out, man. Because Anthony, we got this thing called Chat GPT, man. We got everything. We got all the notes and everything at our fingertips, man. So I'm super excited about that. And speaking of which, man, let's get into some NFL news right now. Shout out to all the people in the comments. I see Art, the Artpreneur. Shout out to the Art, man. ART, man. The guy kills the game. I gotta take this minute to plug this dude, man, because he really took time out to reach out to me, help me out, kind of help me to understand what it is that I kind of needed to do. Sometimes I get my blinders on and I'm focused on just want to talk football. I just want to do this. But he helped to show me, man, there's other ways that you can really branch this thing out, man. So I really love that we partnered with this guy. Definitely been a blessing in my life, man. So shout him out real quick. But listen, Off the Wall Sports, we're here talking to you. We got to talk a little NFL news. And like I was talking about, I think my guy just hit me up with it. WFA update. The OKC Lady Force will play Derby City Dynamite this Saturday for a shot at the Women's Football Alliance Division II champ. Shout out to my guy, Anthony Handy. He will let me know if you live streaming that because I know you are doing the play-by-play, man, on that. So I'm excited for that. Definitely would love to partner with them, man, because I don't know that they get the attention that they deserve. And I will. Oh, so Handy, I didn't tell you. This fall, I'm going to be in Texas, man. I think it's October. I'm going to be at Prairie View A&M's homecoming. So I might try to make a trip out to see you, my friend. So yeah, let me know what's going on. But listen, we got to get into this, man. We got to talk a little football in this thing, man. And it, like I said, it's the off season. So football season, couple months away. We're not there yet, but there's definitely stuff on the horizon. All love, my guy. Absolutely, man. There's definitely stuff on the horizon, and I'm excited to see it. And one of those things being Max Crosby. For those of you that know, in March of 2026, there was supposed to be this big blockbuster trade. Max Crosby's going from the Raiders to the Baltimore Ravens. He notably wanted out of Raiders. He had a big issue with Geno Smith, the former quarterback. He had an issue with the coach. He really just wanted out. He didn't think they were serious about winning. Well, in the offseason since then, Pete Carroll is gone. Geno Smith's gone. Max Crosby was also going to move on to the Ravens, but if I'm not mistaken, there was something with the physical. I think he failed the physical or something with some injuries, and so the whole trade went to crap, didn't happen. And so he stayed in the Raiders. And at the moment, he's been saying, hey, he's good where he's at. He's being very vocal about, how he's positive and looking to go forward. But there are some NFL insiders that think maybe there might be something on the horizon. There might be something going on underneath. And they've actually, some of these insiders have kind of pointed to a number of places that might potentially be places where a trade could happen. This is what's very interesting. We know how good Max Crosby is, and shout out to my Eastern Michigan dynasty on NCAA 26. He is Eastern Michigan's own, and listen, he is actually they named their field after him. Eastern Michigan's field in Ypsilanti, Michigan is called the Max Crosby Field. I mean, he is their number one export to the league. So shout out to this guy. And we know how much of a stud he is for this team. So now, if he can get him on a team that's actually worth kind of how good he is, he could really be a dominant force. We've seen Trey Henderson from the Bengals left struggling Bengals defense to now go with the Ravens and potentially uplift their defense. And hey, Max Crosby, he was going to make that happen. Then that trade fell through. Where is he going to go now? That's going to be a big question. Some teams that are tied with him, actually, one team that's got a whole kind of package already kind of lined up, according to some NFL insiders, is the San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, they dealt with a number of injuries last year. Mac Jones had to end up starting because Brock Purdy was out. CMC was hurt. I think it was Fred Warner got hurt. He was out, and Kittle, I think he was out. I mean, they had a bunch of people out, along with the fact that you had Juwan Jennings and Brandon Ayuk, or at least Brandon Ayuk, kind of unhappy with a lot of the things that was going on. So this is definitely a year where things are turning around. Everybody's coming back healthy, and they're kind of ready to challenge in what it is right now, probably the cream of the crop in the NFC, that NFC West that has the Ravens that are built to go to the Super Bowl with the reigning the rating NFL MVP and Matt Stafford. Obviously, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, and then you get a number of big guys on your defense, including the single season sack record holder in Myles Garrett that they got in a trade from the Browns. All of a sudden, a lot of people are penciling them in for the NFC's representative for the Super Bowl. Then you have the defending Super Bowl champs, the Sam Darnold-led Seattle Seahawks, with Jackson Smith and Jigba, with that stout defense. What's going to happen there? San Francisco definitely has an upfield battle in the NFC West, but with a lot of the names that I just mentioned, San Francisco is rearing and ready to go. I mean, they're ready to get this thing done. And listen, if they get healthy, and then all of a sudden you pair somebody like a Max Crosby with the Warner, with some of those guys on that defense, that could be a game changer. Then that automatically puts these guys in play for definitely contention in that division and in the conference. I mean, we already know how good this team is, and this team is what, 3-4 years, maybe 3-4, maybe 5 years removed from a trip to the Super Bowl. So we know how good they can be, and the question is, will they be able to get back there, or will they be able to make this move? Now, the trade that some NFL insiders are kind of talking about is a potential trade with where the 49ers would give a 2027 first round pick, a 2028 a second, and in a second year edge rusher, Mikael Williams. So yeah, I mean that's an interesting package. Could it happen? I don't know, but I definitely think that that's something that if San Francisco wanted to make that move for Max Crosby, you're giving the Raiders a lot of young, fresh stuff. We know Raiders are already a young team, led by that running back Ashton Genty, Fernando Mendoza from the national championship Indiana Hoosiers, Brock Bowers, Michael Myers, Mayers, a lot of those guys, a lot of young guys, new head coach, the whole nine. So, I mean, that would be definitely something to see. Um, there will be a live stream. Okay, there will definitely be something to see as long as nothing. Okay, there'll definitely be something to see coming out of um, San Francisco. I mean, both of these guys are in the West Coast. Obviously, San Francisco is in the Bay Area. Not That's where the Raiders used to be. Now they're in Las Vegas, but definitely a big move to see if he ends up going there. I mean, hey, we know that would up their game. Another team that's kind of reportedly nuclear hot, quote unquote, is the words being used in interest in pairing with Crosby, is a team that was in the Super Bowl a couple years ago, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles. We know that stout defense. We know how good they are. And there's a lot of talk about the Eagles potentially wanting to pair Vic Fangio with a Max Crosby and really help to solidify a defense that has been top tier for the last couple of years. In the package, they don't know, exactly what it is. It's just all speculation right now, but they think it would kind of include maybe a Jalen Carter or a N'Kobe Dean, two Georgia boys, to try to trade with that. Obviously, there's probably some picks, maybe another players who knows what will happen with that. But that could be a huge move to pair Vic Fangio with the Max Crosby. I mean, and the support of the rest of that defense, man, that would be huge for Max Crosby to come into the NFC and dominate and see what else is going on. A couple other teams that have kind of been tied with his name or definitely expressed interest: Chicago Bears, New England Patriots, Dallas Cowboys, among others, that have definitely been interested kind of to see, do we go in that direction? Do we like to do we want to make that move, man? But tell me where you think Max Crosby should go. What direction should he go? You think he'll stay with the Raiders? You think he'll stay in house, or does he move on to greener pastures? I'm gonna be honest with you, man. As somebody that's trying to root for the Raiders. Shout out to my uncle who's a diehard Raiders fan. I want to show love. I want to kind of hope for the best for them. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I think they kind of need to get out from under this. And he's obviously kind of not happy, or at least it appears from how things were going last year that he was not happy. Let him move on. Let him try to see, where he can be on a team that can potentially he can help right away to help them actually make big moves and potentially go make a deep run in the playoffs. And then look, the compensation that the Raiders would get, that would kind of go along with what they're trying to do. They're trying to be a younger team. They just got a new head coach. They're really trying to make some moves for the future. And hey, this might be a great move for them. So this could work well for both sides if the compensation meets the player and how that whole thing plays out. So I'm excited to see kind of what happens from that perspective. So shout out to them both. Moving along with some more off-season news, my Washington Commanders. Shout out to the Commanders. We make a signing and start to bolster that defense a little more. We signed Rasul Douglas to a 1-year, $3.8 million deal. Shout out to this. This is going to help our defense get a little bit better. Obviously, we make the move to get Nick Cross from the Colts. We ended up drafting Sonny Styles and picking up Leo Chanel. We get Adafe Owe. We get a number of some edge rushers. Definitely some help to that D line, that front seven. Now we're helping our secondary. I believe we also got Amik Robertson from the Detroit Lions. So we are totally revamping what was definitely our kind of our weakest unit last year, and which was our defense, man. And coming into an NFC East where we have to play the Cowboys two times a year with Dak, who's throwing the ball over to George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb and Javonte Williams. Then you got Philly, obviously, with Devonta Smith and Saquon Barkley and them kind of doing their thing. And even the Giants, who now, you got, what's it? We'll see what happens with Malik Neighbors. We'll see if he comes back. But then you also got Cam Scatterbo, who's a bowling ball in that backfield and what he does. So we're going to need to bolster that defense. We got younger. Obviously, we haven't re-signed Bobby Wagner yet or at all. So who knows what's going to happen with that. But we've definitely gotten younger. We've definitely got somewhere we can help out our defense, help out our offense as well, man. Because if we can get our defense, get our offense the ball more, and then stay healthy, that could be huge. That could be huge going forward. So this move is big. I mean, look, he's 30 years old, which, like I told you before, a lot of people have an issue with any players that are 30 years and older. But I like to show them guys like Calais Campbell. He goes around the league. He obviously signs 1-year deals and consistently makes his presence known. Okay. Is he the best D lineman in the league? No, but he's consistently getting it done. And everywhere he's going, players like him, teams like him, and he contributes where he's going. Getting a guy like Rasul Douglas, who's a veteran, he's been around the league, he's played big. Look, the guy played at Miami a year ago, and they got him right after the 53-man cut. They got him after, right before, I believe it was like right around week 1. Miami had 2 starters, but then Storm Duck, their starting corner, got hurt, and Rasul Douglas jumped in there and solidified himself as the top corner over there. He played, I think he played 15 games in that. He was targeted 82 times. They caught like 54, I believe, passes on him for over 500 yards, but only gave up 3 touchdowns. He had 13 passes defended, which is the second most he's had in any single season of his career, which is major for a corner. Yes, he had to go. And think about that. You're talking about the AFC East. And okay, you're like, oh, the Jets. Look, he's playing Jets, but he's also playing New England with Stephon Diggs. He's also playing Buffalo and other games in that NFC East. They had, or the AFC East. Sorry about that, where they've had a lot of issues, kind of dealing with what they've had to deal with. So hey, shout out to Rasul Douglas, man, coming over. We know, I think it was week 14. He had 5 passes defended. And an interception. So he, was the AFC Defensive Player of the Week type deal. I mean, the guy can still play. And from what we've had at corner, this has definitely helped. And I think this is going to be good for our secondary, man. We have Sammer still. I believe we picked up another younger corner out there, but now we're starting to get some veteran leadership, some guys that can actually cover and help really mold the younger guys and kind of help solidify what we got on that back end so that our front end can actually have time to get to the quarterback and things like that. Douglas has played for 5 teams in the league. I know Green Bay, the Panthers, Eagles, the Packers, and Buffalo, along with Miami of last year in his 9-year career, and has had, I think the stat was like 20 some odd interceptions in his career. So shout out to him. Like 6 teams that he's played with, man. So hey, shout out to him. He's been around the league. He's consistently getting the job. Hopefully he can stay with us and maybe give us a couple years. And hey, let's see what he can rock with, man. I'm all about it. I'm glad he's with it. And I will say this in my shout out to the show Washington Football Weekly, in that intro video, there is a touchdown pass being caught by Scary Terry McLaurin, and the guy that Terry is catching it over is Rasul Douglas. So hopefully we get the better of Rasul Douglas and not that clip right there, because I'm not trying to dog my man. I'm trying to shout him out. I'm not trying to show love. But I'm kind of, that's the first thing I thought. So there was part of me that's kind of like, that could be interesting. But at the end of the day, I think that could be a big move for Washington to definitely get some veteran help for the Commanders. So hey, we'll see what happens with this going forward. We'll see kind of how this thing plays out. I know this is definitely a move that we needed to make going on. Uh, Oh my God, Centrifugal, she laughs. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you already know it. You already know it, man. Hey, shout out to Let's Talk Football, man. They're doing great things. And we're talking about all this stuff, man. The football season is right around the corner. And I'm so excited about that because with that being right around the corner, there's some things that are happening and some conversations that are going to happen that I think a lot of people are going to really, get animated about. I was in a live earlier, just kind of in the comments, and they were going at it, and they were going at it left and right, talking about the differences between now and differences between the past, how running backs are now and how they are then, and X, Y, and Z. And I was so enamored getting the conversation as a former running back myself. There was a time 4 or 5 years ago, maybe, where people were really fixing their mouth to say, running backs aren't needed in the game anymore, and running backs, aren't what they used to be, and they're not, valued in quality and X, Y, and Z. And as a former running back, man, I'm just like, what? Are y'all serious right now? You you cannot win without a quality run game, and I will take that to my grave. Yes, people are like, oh, well, you were running back. Of course, you're gonna say that. No, if you look at each team, even though this league is definitely focused on the past, you look at each team that really solidifies their team and makes it to the playoffs or makes those deeps run in the playoffs and even goes to the Super Bowl. You need your running back. You absolutely do. Will I argue that this league is a passing league or not? No, we all know that. You can't touch the quarterbacks. You can't touch the wide receivers. We already know how that stuff plays, but this league still and will forever be a running back league. Now, is this a T formation or an I formation? Power crossbuck dive runnings? No, we're not. This isn't a triple option. This isn't the 1940s, 50s, 60s. No, it's not. Okay, yes, we are throwing the ball all over the place. But I'll be damned if you're gonna sit here and try to convince me that this league does not need running backs and is not dependent on running backs, man. So with that being said, you want to get me amped up, try to sit here and talk about running backs not being legit. Because I'm gonna talk about that. Shout out to my running backs. So look, with that, man, I thought I'd dive into this. I really wanted to think about what it is. The number one thing, top 10. Everybody loves these lists. These top 10 lists, top 10 greatest quarterback, top 10 greatest team, top 10 greatest defense, etc. and so on. Well, I wanted to do a list with something that I love. Top 10 running backs right now in today's list. Who are your top 10 in today's NFL? This is going to be a hotly debated list. People are going to go back and forth. People are going to sit there and have their opinions. People are going to sit here and say, "Oh, well, I think it's this," and "Oh, these guys, oh no, you're wrong. You're the blah, blah." That's why it's an opinionated conversation. Okay, this isn't a situation where it's like, "Oh man, I know it for a fact, and this is definitely it," and that's not. No, I just don't think you can sit there and do that because everybody's gonna have their kind of 2 cents. Now, there are some guys that you can say, yeah, I think this is a little higher than them, or yeah, they're a little bigger than them, X, Y, Z, whatever. But when you're saying top 10, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's all speculation. It's all trying to figure it out because you get a guy injured, and they were talking about top 10 of this year. Boom. Now you're saying top 10 over the last couple years. Hey, we can talk about that. But we're going into this season. So let's see coming out the woodwork. Shout out to the people that are watching with me. Mr. Loose Moore over there doing this thing. Appreciate you, Jason. Appreciate you checking me out, man. Hit me in the comments. Let me know who is your top 10 running backs. You don't have to give me a list in order, but you can definitely throw it out there. Obviously, you're going to want to say the Saquons. You're going to want to say CMC. You're going to want to say Bijan. You're going to want to say them all. Um, hold up. But I need to know your list, and I'm going to tell you a list. I'm not going to tell you my list per se. I'm going to tell you the list that the NFL execs, the coaches, and the scouts came together and they picked on their own. And even the order of this list kind of had me a little like, huh, that's interesting. I didn't think maybe they're in that list, but and so we're going to count down from the bottom first. First, we're going to give you some of the guys that are honorable mentions. And a lot of these guys, it makes sense why they're kind of honorable mentions, where they stand on this list, and let me know where you think these guys stand. And did any of these guys deserve to be on the actual list? So look, we'll start with some of the honorable mentions. Josh Jacobs, still quality running back. We've seen him be, he's moved around a little bit, but he's definitely got the ability. Kyron Williams for the Rams. We've seen how he's definitely helped with Matt Stafford, definitely helped that running game for the Rams and what they've been able to do. Keyshawn Jenkins, I think somebody that is highly overlooked for the Cleveland Browns, but definitely has, in my opinion, is a legit running back and a solid force in that backfield that's actually kind of helped what is otherwise a kind of frustrating offense, if you will. Just they can find a quarterback. We'll see. DeAndre Swift. Swift is somebody that I can tell you personally has been somebody that's given me a lot of headaches over the years. So he is solid running back. If he can stay healthy and get down on all that, then he would be, I think, a little bit higher on this list, but I get where he's at. Chase Brown, definitely one of the more underrated running backs on this list, but I like him being an honorable mention. Ashton Genty, I think sample size is a big deal. The fact that he's just getting in here, we know he had that near Heisman run a couple years ago where he just lost to the great two-way player from Colorado, Travis Hunter. But Ashton Genty, I think, has, barring any injury, I think he has a great career ahead of him. And I'm excited to see kind of what he does with the Raiders, Travion Henderson, another guy. This guy was an Ohio State product, came in, helped the New England Patriots go all the way to the Super Bowl, a legit piece of the puzzle that I don't think gets enough love. Travis Etienne Jr. He's moved, I believe, I forget. I think is he in Philly or did he go to Dallas? I know he moved somewhere this year. But he's somebody that, if healthy, if he can stay on the field, he's good. And then obviously Alvin Kamara with the injuries, with kind of the, maybe off the field or this or that, we'll see what it is. JJ is fair. Nola. Yeah. Yo, what up, Nine? Nine is in the building, man. What's Gucci, my friend? Yo, shout out to my guy, Nine, man, the poet. Nine the poet, man. Guy's got these killer poetry slams and is major. Yo, you gotta check out I know the poetry connection, the group that he's connected with, man, definitely doing big things. They major, man, and they've already blown up in Houston, but we need to get them to get on the grander stage, on a national stage for sure. ETN moved to the Saints, right? Yeah. So that, watch out for that, man, because ETN, I think he has the ability to kind of do what Kamara does now, and a lot of people will sit here and immediately come at me. Oh, you saying he's Kamara? You saying no? I didn't say that. I said I think he has the ability, especially in the pass game, to kind of do what Kamara does. Kamara is legit. We all know that. But let's also be honest. What has Kamara really done lately? Like, I mean, I might have to look back at the stats and see, but it's been a while. And again, I don't pay that much attention to the Saints, so we'll see. I love football too. I already know. Now. Kamara is old. Absolutely. Absolutely. I know there was some off the field stuff, but who knows exactly what it is. Those right there are the honorable mentions. Okay. Those are not on the top 10 list. I think rightfully so. There's a couple guys that I think maybe could potentially crack the list, but only if we're talking about potential. Because if we're talking about coming into this season solidified, those guys aren't on that list. Now, look, let's start with number 10 on this list of number 10 on this list of players that were top 10 running backs. Okay. Who's your number 10 on the list? What are y'all thinking about it? Number 10, this is what NFL execs, head coaches, scouts, assistants, things of that nature. This is what they said. This is not my list. Okay. So don't kill the messenger. All right. Number 10 on that list is Brees Hall, running back from the New York Jets. Look, the guy, shout out to him, came from Iowa State. We've seen kind of how he's been able to do, even though unfortunately he's with the Jets and the Jets have been struggling, but he's been one of those lone bright spots for a struggling New York Jets team that really has had not much to be excited about. He has definitely been something that has given them a positive push and a time when it really hasn't been this positive. Obviously, having Aaron Rodgers and his injuries, having Justin Fields, and now I think Geno Smith and maybe Geno Smith because we don't know what's going on with the off the field stuff. Brees Brees Hall is definitely somebody that some people honorable mention. Some people are like, is he this guy? He's a true three down back. He's explosive. He packs power. This guy can stretch the field. He's got hands. 1,000-yard rusher last year. I think this guy is a legit force and needs the recognition. Needs far more recognition than I think he gets. And we all know that he did all this even with an ACL tear. So shout out to this guy. Number 9 on the list, rather Judkins than Hall. And I can understand that. Like I said, a year ago, Hall was a honorable mention on this list. And I think a lot of my love for Brees Hall comes from the time that I've seen him. I saw him when he was at Iowa State in college, and what he was with, when he was with Brock Purdy. So what he's been able to do, kind of in the league, is really kind of been overshadowed by the fact that there hasn't been much quarterback play, hasn't been much help there. Rather, the guy with the Raiders, Ashton Jenney, he's another one. The reason why I don't agree, and I would put Ashton Jenney still in the honorable mentions, is only because Ashton Jenney just has that small sample size. Brees Hall has shown that he can contribute in the league, and in somewhat of a similar situation where it's on a struggling team. So, but I too, like, if I'm looking at guys that I would favor more, I would definitely potentially say Ashton Jenney because I love his running style. But yeah, I understand. Let's go to number 9. Number 9 on that list is last year's Super Bowl MVP, former Michigan State running back Kenneth Walker III, formerly of the Seattle Seahawks, now with the Kansas City Chiefs. Listen, this guy, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Now he's able to go with Patrick Mahomes, and that whole situation. Hopefully, there won't be all this attention on the Swift Kelsey situation. But this guy, I love about him is he's a powerful runner. Okay, this guy's not a guy that you're gonna come out of the backfield and throwing passes. But if you need a guy that's going to take one cut and go downfield, that's your guy. That's the guy that you want on this team. Obviously, we saw he definitely dictated that ball game. And I think, mark my words, I want to see kind of how Sam Darnold is able to play without him. Because I think a lot of people slept on the fact that Sam Darnold, he had that great season, but one of the reasons he had that great season is because that running game was so legitimate. You had somebody that could be your bell cow, that can literally get you 4 or 5 yards on a carry, and then kind of make your second downs, make your third downs a lot shorter and a lot easier for you, a lot beneficial. It's going to be very interesting to kind of see how Sam Darnold is able to play without a running back like that. I know they drafted Jadarian Price from Notre Dame, but can he give you the same kind of punch and the same kind of movement that a Kenneth Walker gave? I think that's going to be a big deal to see. The Chiefs, in my opinion, got a gem. Um, but I'm really big on kind of seeing what happens. But I like him at number 9. I mean, I think it's the least you do after you gave the guy, he won the Super Bowl MVP. Unfortunately, he doesn't really with that passing attack. They didn't dedicate a lot to the run, but they were able to utilize him when they needed to. All right, we're moving up to 8th on this list. And listen, there's I think 7 backs in the league that a lot of people will say, boom, these 7 somewhat interchangeable, but they are in that list. Once you get to 8, 9, and 10, it's a pick and choose type situation for me because I looked at their 8 and I was kind of like, really? That's where you guys are at? But I get it with his speed and kind of what he's been able to do where he's been at. And so their number 8 was Devin Chain from the Miami Dolphins. 3 seasons, over 4,000 scrimmage yards, 5.6 yards per carry is his career average. I mean, listen, we already know he's an explosive back. You get this guy in the open field, and he's taking off on you. No question about it. I think they clocked him at something like 23 miles per hour when he hits full speed in the open field. We know the guy. Yeah, he's super fast. Absolutely. We know the guy can play. Okay, he was like that when he was at college at I believe Texas A&M, and he's still like that now in the league. In fact, he was a lone bright spot when they were dealing with the whole Tua debacle and his whole concussed situation, and with Waddle and they really struggled. Miami has really been struggling over the last couple of years. And Devin Chain, if you actually, matter of fact, if you look at that roster, Devin Chain is one of the few guys that you'll actually recognize as a legit like kind of star on that team, man. So I like this. Um, and then kind of look and see some of the other guys below this. I'm kind of like, okay, I get it. The speed definitely puts him up there. So I can dig this pick, and I would definitely rock him. Last year he was an honorable mention, and you got to remember the guy's 24 years old. He's still young, so I'm kind of with what they're doing on this. Now, number 7 on this list is a guy that a lot of people might not know. A lot of people might not be, as aware of. And he's playing for Buffalo. He's got a brother, Dalvin Cook, that used to play for Florida State. He's also played in the league. I think he plays for Minnesota, or he did. I don't know where he plays now, but James Cook III plays for the Buffalo Bills. Could be higher on this list. I think he's dealt with injury issues. He led. This is the craziest part. He led the league in rushing last year. Over 16, the Texans owns Cook. Yeah, he had over 1,600 yards last year. You know what I mean? That I didn't even know that. I didn't even know, but there's a lot of times when he balled out for a team, the Buffalo Bills, that kind of to their standards fell off. You know what I mean? They struggled. Obviously, the Patriots went on, won the division, and did great. Buffalo struggled. I know my guy 9. You're in here. The Texans gave the Bills everything they can handle, and the Bills weren't ready for the Texans, and y'all kind of shut down Cook. But Cook was 3 down back. He's good in the pass game. And I mean, look, he was the first player to lead the AFC in rushing since the Thurman Thomases in 1993. And he's also the first to lead the NFL since OJ, the Juice, back in 75. You know what I mean? So he's bringing the run game back to Buffalo, and that's why I think, yeah, you got to show the guy love. And if you look at him from a smaller sample size, yeah, maybe it's interesting. You take a look. Easy, you would have all those yards if you play Miami and the Jets 2 times a year, which is what people are saying. That's the thing. It's like, oh, you got those 2 times, but then he also has a number of other games that he played and still dominate. So, I mean, listen, I understand the argument against, but the guy gets it done. He's legit in the pass game as well. I mean, he's definitely multifaceted, and I get why they would put him this high on the list because of all the different things that he is able to do. And again, I didn't know that he led the league in rushing this past year. So, I mean, when you add that into the mix, yeah, he's a great dual threat. He's a great dual threat back. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, now you starting to get into the real cream of the crop here. You know what I mean? James Cook, I if you would have sat here and told me that he was 7, I would have been like, really? Okay. But then knowing the stats, knowing that he's a dual threat guy, knowing that he's been able to help with a team that was struggling last year in Buffalo. I mean, yeah, I definitely would put him up there. Now let's go to 6. 6 is somebody that if you asked me this question 2 years ago, I'm sitting here saying he is far too low on this list. He needs to be one or two. And to be honest with you, only reason I'd put him at 2 is because one was so otherworldly. I wouldn't even give a number because he was so high on this list at that time. And that was Saquon. That was a couple years ago. Number 6 on this list, and I think due to his injury from last year, is Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry had a resurgence of sorts, and which is weird to say when you think of how dominant this guy was. But in his last couple years at Tennessee, especially his last year, once he got the injury, he just didn't seem like the same Derrick Henry that was literally bowling people over, running guys over, outrunning people for his size, his speed, his strength. Obviously he had that State Farm commercial where he's carrying the whole living room or whatever. You know what I mean? Like we know he had most fumbles in his career last year. Right. Exactly. And I think one thing that we noticed from last year, Derrick Henry got very comfortable behind Patrick Ricard, the fullback for the Ravens. Patrick Ricard was hurt most of last year, and you saw the difference in Derrick Henry when he didn't have that lead blocker, which is kind of crazy because we've seen Derrick Henry out in the open. We still remember that clip of him just kind of picking up Josh Norman and just throwing him. You know what I mean? Derrick Henry is an absolute force. And like I told you, like 2 years ago, Derrick Henry ran for what, 1,900 yards? You know what I mean? Came a game away from the Super Bowl, a game or two away from the Super Bowl with the Ravens. I mean, Derrick Henry is a monster. We already know this guy can still play at top level. Okay. And it seems kind of rough to have him this low, but like Nine talked about, the fumbles played a big deal. The guy he's had 5 seasons with at least 1,500 yards. You know, he's got about 5 yards to carry. Throughout his throughout last year. The guy is still a top running back, and he dealt with injuries, and obviously he dealt with the fumbling issues and everything. The guy is still top tier. The guy is still one of the best backs in the league, but I think some of the things that he struggled with a year ago definitely dropped him down on this list. When you look at some of the guys that are above him, you can kind of understand because one thing that I think we can say about Derrick Henry that he's not the best at, or at least he's not somebody when you think about, this facet of the game, you're not really looking at Derrick Henry, and that's passing game. If we're looking at a guy that's, catching balls out of the backfield and things like that, I'm not thinking about Derrick Henry. Not saying he can't do that, but that's not somebody that I'm seeing as I don't think he's as big of a threat in that side of the game. And that's major. And especially when you look at today's NFL and you look at a lot of the guys that are on this list. So him being kind of this low on this list, is kind of suspect. But I mean, the guy still is dominant. He broke 17 runs of 20 or more yards last year. This guy is still a home run hitter, and he's a monster, man. I can't think of 4 backs that I would put before Henry. And once you see the other backs they put up here, it's going to be interesting. One of them is definitely going to blow you away, especially when you see how high they are on this list. Now, number 5, okay. And this guy, 9, very close and very up close and personal. He is in your division. I'm gonna give you a second, 9. Do you think you could tell me who this guy is? He's in your division, okay? And he's definitely a monster. He's definitely a dominant running back. And since Derrick Henry left your division, since Derrick Henry left, this guy is by far the best running back in your division, and that's Jonathan Taylor of the Indianapolis Colts. Look, this guy, 6 years, and he's been dominant. I mean, 69 career touchdowns. Only Derrick Henry has more since the year 2000, which is 84. I mean, this guy since he's came into the league, he's by far one of the top, in my opinion. Since he came into the league, he's by far one of the top 3 or 4 backs in the league. I would argue, if you want to talk about consistency outside of the injury, I think Jonathan Taylor top 2 or 3. You know what I mean? And I'm looking at Derrick Henry. And to be honest with you, if I'm talking about consistency, I'd kind of put him over Saquon Barkley. Because yes, Saquon has those big years. He had that 2,000-yard year when they won the Super Bowl and everything. But Saquon also kind of fell off last year. Not fell off altogether, but definitely struggled. So if I'm looking at JT, I think he should be 3. That's what And 9, once you see who's above him, one of the guys you see above him, I already know you're gonna be like, what? He passed on Whitney Marcellus, which was great. Yeah, we passed. Yeah, and I'm honestly thinking that this guy he should be higher on this list. For me, I would put Jonathan Taylor a little higher on this list. He single-handedly makes you forget the fact that the Colts ran the most of the season with Daniel Jones. I'll put it to you that way. They make you forget the fact that they have had QB issues, and Anthony Richardson was their starter at one point. Jonathan Taylor is a force. Him with a legit defense has had the Colts one of the top 2 teams in the AFC South since he's been there. Okay, and we got to play them week 4 in London, and I am not looking forward to that game. Okay, I hope he leaves all his talent in Indianapolis, because I am not looking forward to playing Jonathan Taylor. Taylor has had 4 rushes of 40 or more yards, and is only trailed and trailed only Jameer Gibbs. This guy is just, he busts off big runs. He's not getting caught. And then on top of that, Taylor has caught a career at 46 passes last season. So, like I said, the reason why you're putting him over Derrick Henry is because how he is effective in the passing game, how he is able to play, and he does not have a Lamar Jackson over there. He is that offense for sure. And if you look at it, what wide receivers are we talking about? You know what I mean? Like legitimate, like if in comparison to other wide receivers around the league. So Jonathan Taylor being at 5, I think is a little low in my opinion. But we'll see. We're moving on to somebody that definitely, had he been healthy last year, I think he's definitely higher on this list. And that's CMC. That's Christian McCaffrey. I know some people that would put him as number 1 if he came in at full health. And I know some people that would definitely have him top 3. But Christian McCaffrey is by far one of the premier backs in the league since the minute he stepped in the league. Okay, he posted his 3rd season with at least 2,000 scrimmage yards, tied for most by an NFL running back, by a running back in NFL history. Okay, the guy can not only catch out of the backfield at an elite level, but he also can run out of the backfield almost 4 yards a carry, which is his lowest season average since 2017, since his rookie year, man. And the 49ers were 29th in rushing before contact. I mean, they declined. Some people might say declined a little bit, but you're giving this guy 400 carries. You're giving this guy, I mean, he is definitely the bell cow. You're putting it all on him. Obviously, the wear and tear is going to show up. The injuries are going to show up. And now you're getting him healthy. You're getting him back on the field. I am looking for him to have a major breakout season this year, and for San Francisco to be high flying. And then being another team we gotta face them in week 6. Not looking forward to that one either. But Chris McCaffrey is that guy, and man, him being 4th on this list, I understand it if you add context, but other than that, yeah, I would definitely add him, make him higher on this list. All right. Number 3, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting close to the top, and I'm going to be very honest with you, okay? You're going to react when you see who is over number 3 on this list, okay? I could potentially justify number 1 because of how well he played last year. But when I'm looking kind of else, I don't know that I can fully justify some number 2, but we'll see. Number 3 on this list is Saquon Barkley, ladies and gentlemen. It sounds like the Commanders are going to have a long, rough. 9. I told you, man. Look, 9. Until we bury this daggone Redskin stuff, we're going to struggle. 9. I'm telling you this. Until we bury the Redskins, that's it. We're gonna struggle. So I'm not even tripping. I'm not even caring, man. I'm not even look. I'm not betting on my team. All right. I'm gonna go back to start betting and starting the opposing defenses because until we until we bury this Redskin stuff, we're gonna struggle, my guy. I'm not looking forward to it. Well, Saquon, we got to play 2 times a year, is another one. He is number 3 on this list. And listen, anything coming off of that 2024 season would be somewhat of a letdown. He had over 2,000 yards. The man absolutely annihilated kind of some of the records and things like that. Didn't break the single season record of 2,105 yards by Eric Dickerson, but definitely came close. But things struggled last year. The Eagles' line was subpar by his standards, and Barkley only he had 1,180 yards and didn't have as many breakout games. Obviously, dealt with a little bit of injuries. He had 4 runs of 20 plus yards and 13, which is 13 fewer in the previous year. I mean, listen, we know how great Barkley was in 2024. He was absolutely elite. And I will sit there and say it. We played him in the NFC Championship. Washington, 17, I think it was a 17 play drive. Took 6, 7 minutes off the clock. First play, the Eagles had the ball. They handed it to Barkley on a sweep to the left. Barkley took it like 50, 60 yards, maybe even 70 yards. And that was all she wrote. I knew at that moment we were not going to win that game. You know what I mean? Barkley is just that guy. He is just absolutely elite, and he deserves every bit of it. Now, listen, if we get political with this thing, I will say the reason why Barkley struggled last year is because after he won that damn Super Bowl, he decided to go in a jet with somebody that was orange, and he got a little bit of that orange gunk on him. But I'm not going down that road. All right. But Barkley definitely struggled by his standards, getting nearly 1,000 yards less than he did the previous year. Obviously, they had a number of issues with the line. They lost their coordinators. That was Kellen Moore. And they obviously the AJ Brown drama was big over there. There was a lot of stuff going on in house. And so yeah, he struggled, and I can see kind of why they were putting him here. I also think the controversy between Hurts and Brown exactly slowed Barkley up as well. That offense wasn't together, and I think a lot of people also sleep on the coordinators. A lot of people think that you can just plug and play coordinators, and I don't think that's possible. Kellen Moore, he left for the New Orleans Saints job, and he was the coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles in that Super Bowl year of 2024. Him not being there sounds rough. Sounds like he was on a jet with. Yeah, he was. He was. How did he get hurt this year? Yeah, he was on that jet with Trump. And look, you can also say this. I mean, if you believe in the Manning curse, he was on the cover of Madden. So that could be another thing. I mean, you look at CMC. He was on the cover of Madden a couple years ago. And we know what happened with him. I'm going to give a quick update. USA is down 3-1 to Belgium. So, and speaking of somebody we just spoke of, the Orange Menace. I know the Orange Menace had a part to play and was saying certain things about some of the players, and as far as let's get this guy in or let's do this. Whenever he has his hand in something, things kind of fall apart. So I'm not going to predict that we're losing, but yeah. He did have never jumped over that guy. Yeah, well, that the backwards jump. You're right. So when you look at last year and you look at kind of how last year played out and the things that they lost and how the chemistry of the team kind of fell apart, then it's you can understand why they did not, have the same success. It seems like such a drastic fall from being, dominant and having a just completely just falls to the wall 2,000-yard season, going to Super Bowl and everything, and to completely fall and to just barely get over 1,100 yards. You're just like, woof, what happened? But hey, that happens sometimes. You know what I mean? And hey, that's where we're at. So with that being said, why was 3-1? Because of the goalie? Yeah, what was it? Because of the goalie. That's what they're saying. As soon as they scored, talking about USA. As soon as USA scored um, their first goal to tie it up at 1, they immediately gave up another goal immediately, and then now they just got another one. So hey, it's not looking pretty, not looking pretty for the USA team. But look, we got to get back to this pick because now these top 10 lists because now we are down to the top 2 picks, and this is where some people with the facts with I can see kind of if we're basing it off last year and we're basing it kind of off some of the things that have happened recently. I get why these guys would be considered as high as they are. But if you're looking at it from a player standpoint and everything, you'd kind of be like, well, I would always put Saquon up here and then Derek up here, X, Y, and Z. But with them, they're number 2 all time. And again, this is NFL execs, coaches, scouts that have come together to make this list. They have put Jahmyr Gibbs at number 2 on this list, with a lot of people thinking that he should potentially be the number 1 guy on this list. And look, the guy can ball. I mean, there's no doubt about it. His speed is elite. 18 touchdowns in 2025, second most in a season in Lions history, only trailing himself in 2024 with 20. I love Gibbs. I love his ability. This guy was a steal when the Lions got him in the draft a couple years ago. Okay, they moved up to get him. He's got 39 rushing touchdowns in 3 years while splitting time, ladies and gentlemen, with I believe Dave Montgomery. I mean, so when you really break it down and look at it, this guy's speed is electric. I saw this firsthand 3 or 4 years ago when whenever he got drafted, his rookie year, I went to a Lions game, and he just ran all over us. He ran all over us. Squeaky's in the building. Appreciate you, sneaky, squeaky, sneaky. How you doing, baby girl? Hope all is well with you. Appreciate you in the building. Yeah, buddy. But look, Jahmyr Gibbs is elite. Okay, he absolutely was, like I said, a steal in the draft, and he's a dominant running. Not squeak, not squeak. He's a definite dominant running back. And like I said, if you're looking at it from this year going forward with how dominant they've been of late, this is a legit pick. A lot of people might have an issue with this pick at the same time because they're trying to look at things from a overall, my favorite and this person is better than this person. Gibbs is absolutely a solid pick in this for this list, because if you're looking at it from last year going into this one, a lot of people even say he should be higher on this list, which is it's interesting. But I mean, hey, look, I understand it. I absolutely understand it when you look at kind of how well he's played, when you look at what he's been able to do, like they said, he's been splitting time, and the guy is the truth, man. I mean, he's averaged just over 200 carries, and he just got over, I think, 300 carries last year. The guy's been able to score. He's been extremely efficient. Yeah, Gibbs is up there. Gibbs is up there. He deserves to be up there, and being number 2, I'm with it, man. Even the Jets run over the okay, 9. All right, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing, 9. Okay, everyone runs over the oh my goodness. Okay, all right, get out of here. Get out of here. All right. He didn't run over us. He ran around us. All right. I don't want to hear it. All right. I don't want to hear it. But yeah, Jameer Gibbs being number 2, which leaves the number 1 running back 9. Do you think you know who this guy is? Wait, let me get the popcorn. Hey, look, hey, I want to hear it. Yo, who's number 1 now? I'll give you a hint. He's from around. He's from around that dirty. Let me know if y'all know. My guy Anthony Handy was in the comments a little bit ago, and he definitely knows, or he should know who this guy is. But he's from down south. His team don't really got a quarterback, or at least they be struggling at quarterback. I may not know sports, but when people go head to head, I'm watching for sure. I bet I like that. Yeah. Hey, and these games are fire. Like it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope. All right. I'm gonna give y'all one more clue. Uh I'm gonna say I can say there was a rap song that they spelled out the name of the city. And he get on up, get on up, get on up. I don't know if that helped any. All I know how to do, all I can think about is doing that dirty, doing that dirty bird. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, ladies and gentlemen, for real, right? Atlanta. You know, no, Atlanta. Yes, but John Robinson is the number 1 pick on this list. They're saying it. His overall body of work is undeniable. He's led the NFL with 2,498 yards from scrimmage in 2025, breaking William Andrews' franchise record from 1983 with 2,176. Okay. Bijan is the most dynamic than the rest of the guys on this field. Not only is he absolutely elite in the run game, but the guy had 79 catches for 820 yards last season, despite getting caught last season to show he can get upfield despite defenders closing in. We know the ability. We know how quick he is on his feet. We know, and this is another thing that I think we got to put in here, is the fact that this guy has not had a consistent, legitimate quarterback since he's been here. He's dealt with the likes of Desmond Ritter. He's dealt with the likes of an aging Kirk Cousins. He's dealt with of an injury-riddled Michael Penix Jr. We got to give him credit for that. And the fact that he is so elite, if you get the ball in his hands, I don't care if the defender is right in front of him. He's one of those guys that they say, just like Barry, he can juke you out in the phone booth. Okay. And sneaky. When somebody says that, that's like saying, all right, you and I are in a phone booth. And it's like he can make it that you can't touch him in a phone booth. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous when you think about some of the moves that this guy makes. I mean, he did it all over us, and I lost to them last year. But you ain't crazy. Yeah, I didn't know those stats either. If I'm being very honest with you, I mean, the guy is just, he has the ability to just, I mean, cut, juke, and the fact that he is so elite in the passing game as well is it just, you got to put him up here on this list. You got to put him that high on this list. So hey, shout out to the guy. I think he's definitely deserving of this kind of a high mark. He's deserving of the attention. Being number 1 again. I say this again. It being the fact that he is. We're talking about this season going into the 2026 season. We're talking about kind of what he did last year. And same thing with James Cook III, leading the league in rushing last year. It's like, well, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's crazy. I had no clue about that. but that's why he was as high as he was on this list. And to see, him, Bijan Robinson having almost 2,500, matter of fact, 2 yards short of 2,500 total scrimmage yards, really puts into context. This guy is amazing. Almost 80 receptions on the season. Hey, Bijan is the number one running back in the NFL going into the season. By the standards of the NFL execs, the coaches, the scouts, they made the votes. They voted on it. A lot of people had him number one or two. Last year, he was ranked fourth on this list coming into the season. This year, he's ranked number one. And look, for my money, after seeing the stats and adding the context of who his quarterback was, kind of who he was with on offense, the team, and everything like that, I got to give him his due, man. I got to give him his due. He's a dual threat in today's game where the receiving back is just as elite as a rushing back. He's been able to move the chains on both on the ground and through the air. I think you got to give him his due. And being here number one, I'm not upset with this pick. I know there's people that would probably be upset with this pick and say, "Y'all, man, Saquon all day over here." JT, even Jonathan Taylor, I'd put him over higher. But when you look at the stats, when you go to the stat sheet and you see what he's doing and you add it with the context of who was throwing him the ball and the team that he had, I'm in agreement with this. I'm in agreement. It's real, but I'm gonna go eat and get at you later. My guy, hey, you stayed to the end and I appreciate you, my dude. I'm with it, man. I'm about to actually hop off here and watch USA and see if they can pull this thing out because I don't know if they're going to be able to do it, man. But look, ladies and gentlemen, man, that's it. That's all I got. Those are the top 10 backs. Going over that list for you one more time, starting with number 10, you got Breece Hall. Number 8, after Breece Hall, you got number 9, you got Kenneth Walker. Number 8, I believe, is Devin A-Chain. Number 7 is James Cook III. Number 6, Derrick Henry. Number 5, Jonathan Taylor. Number 4 is Christian McCaffrey. Number 3, Saquon Barkley. Number 2, Jahmyr Gibbs. And the number 1 running back, based on the NFL execs, coaches, and scouts coming in to the 2026-2027 season is hey, you know him. You absolutely know who it is. Bijan Robinson. There we go. So look, that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is, and that's where we're at. But look, I'm out of here. That's it. Talked a little World Cup. Talked a little that. Let me really quickly just go check and see the score. It's 3-1 Belgium in the 78th minute. USA not looking real good unless they got some magic. Looks like they might be staying put, not going home because they're just staying in the same daggone spot. So this is it. You know who it is. It's your boy Sean Spencer. You see it right here. We on air, but we're about to be off air, ladies and gentlemen. We got to let you go. Appreciate any of you that jumped in here in the comments. Sneaky9, all of y'all that gave me a little time. Dr. Dre is in the building. Appreciate you, my dude. Sorry you just catching me in the end, but I got to go ahead and log off here and see if I can't check out the end of this game with USA. Man, hey, on behalf of Off the Wall Sports, your boy Sean Spencer. You see it up there. Off the Wall TV. Off the Wall TVs are here, and Off the Wall Media is what we're with. Shout out to them. Shout out to all these guys jumping in here and rapping with your boy, man. So glad I got an opportunity to kick it with y'all. But look, I'm out of here, man. Go USA. Let's see if we can pull this thing. If not, hey, well, we're still going to be following it and checking it out, man. Hey, I'll holler at you guys on the flip side, man. Stay tuned for all the great news and notes that we got coming on and all the other coverage of the World Cup. I'm gone, man. So cool talking to you. I'll see you on the flip side. Peace. Gentlemen, it is your boy, Sean Spencer. We on air, people. We are live.
And welcome to Live with